If everyone also would like to add your municipality to your name, you can go ahead and do that. We're not going to go through and everybody, that just takes up time. So if you could put your name or your municipality by your name, that would be great. If you don't know how to do it, hover over your picture, your video, and there's 3 little dots. Click on that and you can rename yourself. Helen, you're moving your camera around too much. You're muted too.
Oops. All right. Okay, now.
There, that looks good. Getting dizzy watching.
It was falling off of where I was sitting.
Oh, okay. Hey, Jamie.
Has everyone seen the cat lawyer video?
Mhm.
I felt so bad for him because you could hear the frustration,
Mhm.
the frustration coming from this adorable kitten.
Has anyone else watched the meeting video from the clerk over in England? I forget which community that was in England where her council just went off on her. It was I saw a little clip of it and I felt really bad for her.
No, I didn't see that.
From what I understand, it's quite a problem over there.
Over there, yeah. The clerks in England have a tough time.
And they're such lovely people.
Oh, I know. There's a group of them, UK clerks that meet on a weekly basis via Zoom just to connect and talk. And so they invited me a couple weeks ago to one of their meetings. And what a fun group. I had so much fun. We shared stories, what we're doing over here, what they're doing. We were on for an hour and a half and the time just flew. So it was great to connect with them.
And we're starting we're putting together a program here too, so clerks can connect with each other globally. There are a number of clerks overseas who would love to make a connection with the region 1 through 9 clerks. Yeah. So there's
wonderful.
more news on that.
There's Miss Lana. Our immediate past president. I can't see who's all on. I know there's quite a few, so.
Mary,
good
I'm
number.
on. This is Letty Bosick from Town of Trophy Club.
Oh, hey, Letty, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I didn't know that was you. It just pops up with a phone number.
Yes, I've got my computer. I'm working on my emails from my computer, and I'm on via my phone.
Okay.
I
Well, I
will
think we'll-
rename you so that we know who you are.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll go through them all at once. Get ready to say you do.
All right, well, I think we'll go ahead and get started so we can be mindful of everyone's time. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this coffee, even though it's 11:30 here in Ohio. I'm not drinking coffee. I have some water, but we wanted to, make sure our West Coast clerks could join and they're not having to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning to be here. So thank you again. I hope everyone's doing well, staying safe. Just doing what we do every day, making sure we're taking care of our community and our councils and our employees and et cetera, and our families as well. So haven't had the opportunity to get the vaccine yet. In Ohio, we're not at that age group, but hoping here in the next month or so, they open it up even more. But anyway, we'll go ahead. And I had mentioned earlier, if you could, I know a lot of them have put their communities by their name, but we have so many people, you don't see your community name. But if you want to go ahead and do that, that would be great. Thank you, Karen, for scheduling this and putting this out on YouTube Live and taking some questions. And the majority of the questions that came in was about the conference. So we're going to talk about the conference in May. And the conference right now will be in person. We have been meeting every other week with the host committee, the Michigan Clerks host committee. And we're moving ahead as in person. The only way it would be canceled is if the hotel, the Amway hotel, says we cannot do it. And Michigan has been opening up. They, at the beginning of the month, they allowed indoor dining, of course, with some restrictions. And they've also upped the number of people that can be in a meeting. And our conference planner, Sharon, has been working very closely with the hotel and, how we can do this, how we can have the conference and keep everyone safe and do what we need to do with social distancing and masks. And we're very fortunate that the hotel, the Amway and the DeVos Center, which is connected to the hotel, is huge. Lots of space. And we have the entire hotel and convention center to ourselves. So if we need to break up into different rooms to do what we need to do to keep everyone healthy and safe, we can do that. We're not limited by space. And the hotel wants us there. They want us to come, and they are working with us to make sure we can do this and pull it off. And so I'll leave it at that and open it up for any questions or concerns about the conference. I know you've all received the preliminary program that went out last month. And we are now up to, well, the last update I had was there were 249 registrations. So I'm hoping, this was last week, I'm hoping that's increased. And they had 391 hotel rooms sold. So that's encouraging too. So if you haven't done your hotel room reservation, go ahead and do that and also get your conference registration in as well. But I'll go ahead and open it up. If anyone has any questions, concerns, this is how we're proceeding right now. I'm fairly confident it will be, it's going to be, I should say, it's going to be in person. And the hotel is working with us to make sure we can do this.
Kathy, I see your hand up.
Okay, great. Thanks, Karen. Hi, Mary. It's Kathy Montejo in Lewiston,
Hey.
Maine. I had a question more regarding the dates, actually. Typically, it's the third week in May, and I noticed this year it's not. So I was just curious, sort of the background on that, if that was just really the hotel availability or if that's kind of going to be a new sort of set date for the association. Thanks.
Oh, good question, Kathy. No, that is correct. It's earlier than normal. We're usually that week right before Memorial Day weekend. But this was the week that worked best with the hotel. And we have done it at different times in the past. I think when we were in Nashville in 2011, I think it was earlier in the month. So it depends on, hotel availability and what works best. So, but typically it's usually when the conference bids when they are released, it's usually that third week of May that we try to keep it at. So
Right.
good question.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mary.
Now, when we're in Fort Wayne, or not Fort Wayne, Little Rock, Arkansas next year, it'll go back to the third week. And I think Minneapolis is the same. Thank you. Any other questions?
Diane?
Yes, Mary, I had sent in a form and the only thing I did was order a t-shirt. And that is because of the guidelines in Michigan. I live in Michigan. The Michigan Department of Health, and I live in Monroe County. So the Monroe County Department of Health, they just updated their COVID guidelines on February 4th.
Right.
I am unable to medically wear a mask without getting into all my personal information. I take medication to regulate my breathing. It causes my pulse ox to drop. Okay, so there are some places that will take that exemption and some that will not. So ironically, IIMC called me the other day, wanted to know if I made a mistake on the paperwork by not registering. Okay, they've got the early bird deadline is March 15th. So I took the liberty of researching the DeVoe Center and researching, what's the other one? The conference center, and they have updated guidelines about all of this. So if that's helpful to people. And then the lady I spoke to, and I wish I'd have wrote her name down, and shame on me that I did not, but she was gonna present this to see if they could talk to the attorneys and see how they're handling that. And my last comment is, will there be a virtual option if indeed there's people similar to me, because I can't imagine I'm the only one in this organization that has that issue, that I could attend classes virtually. So I know I just threw a lot at you. So what do you have about that?
Well, I know that IMC staff has been, trying to plan if it has to go virtual, but we are going in person. That is something I'll have to bring up with Chris Shelby, the executive director, and also with Sharon, our conference planner as well. I have a meeting with Chris later today, and I can throw that out there to him and get back with you, Diane, on that. But
I appreciate that. And the lady that I spoke to with IIMC said she would be calling me back if and when they got something back from legal as to how to handle that.
Right. Okay. Good. All right. Good.
So I know yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep the conversation going and hopefully we can get some answers.
Perfect.
So
and I did just see someone address the virtual in the chat room. They submitted a question in the chat room about that as well. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks, Diane. All right. Is there any other questions? Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
Good, Mary. How about you?
Good. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. I have a question about the early bird date due to all the uncertainty. Would there be a possibility of that date being waived or
It's not
pushed
a
back
hard-
another month?
It's not a hard date. I mean, everything is really fluid with the situation. So I don't know how far or how close to the conference it would go. But, with everything, like I said, we're planning, we're moving forward. I don't think it's a hard date for the middle of March.
Okay, just because I'm sure people are holding off till the last minute.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, and we understand that, we're aware of it, so.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anything else? Now that we are
Here's Lana.
celebrating. Oh, go ahead, Lana, sorry.
Hey, Mary, I just wanted to piggyback onto your response to Lisa. Maybe that's something we can discuss at our executive board meeting in a couple of weeks. Talk with Chris and staff about that to see if, we might be able to put out a deadline. I know because of hotel and making all the arrangements that the hotel sometimes requests, and IIMC has to have a certain amount of people committed to that so that we know what the costs are. So it's the early bird date is there for a reason, and a very specific one, which I'm sure you can understand with as many clerks involved. But I think maybe we can talk to Chris and Sharon and the hotel as the executive board while we're there to see if that date might be put out maybe till April 1st. Would that be of better assistance to you?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We can do that. And maybe we'll have more information too when we're there in a couple weeks. So
I know everything changes so much from week to week, but we will definitely talk about it. And I know Mary will put it on her list of things to discuss. So thank you, Madam Mary.
Yep. Thank you, Lana. Yeah, we are holding our executive committee meeting. The executive committee meets in February. Usually we're out at headquarters in California, but with the situation in California was not desirable. We asked if we could go back to Grand Rapids and meet there, since things seem to be on a better, looking better. Things are more positive there. So we'll be back in Grand Rapids in 2 weeks for our executive committee meeting. So is there any other, I'll go through and see if there's anything else.
Mary, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Letty. I do
Yes.
have one question for the group. It's not related to our conference, but it's on a different matter. I just implemented a new agenda management system in Trophy Club. And my question to everyone is everyone using or more people using Facebook Live versus YouTube, or YouTube versus Facebook Live? And you can just email me directly at lvacek@trophyclub.org. I just want to get a quick survey because I have a few council members that want to continue to use Facebook Live, and then I have a few council members that want to go to the new YouTube channel. So I would appreciate that.
Letty,
okay.
this is Karen. I just included your email address in the chat.
Wonderful. Thank you, Karen.
Sure thing.
All right. Thank you. Does anyone else have anything they want to share?
How's the weather in Ohio?
Snow. Snow, it's cold, right, Jamie?
Yes.
Well,
She's,
you would think we're living in Ohio because it's it's going to get down to like 5 degrees here this Monday, Sunday and Monday.
Ouch. That's
Mhm.
cold in the middle of Texas.
Yes, it is. And there was a horrible big pileup this morning in Fort Worth. There was over 100 vehicles involved. So prayers go out to everybody. There's 5 people that were killed in that crash this morning.
Yeah, I saw something on the internet about that just briefly, and yeah, that's awful. That is awful. Karen and I were talking before we went live, and those of you who are MMCs or working toward your MMC, you should have received a survey yesterday regarding a new program or a possible new program for MMCs, or we've been calling it Beyond the MMC. And so if you haven't been able or haven't had the time to take the survey, please do so. The survey will be available until midnight next Tuesday Pacific time. So please be sure to give your input on the survey so that they can take that information back to the Education and Professional Development Committee, who will be making a recommendation to the Board of Directors at our May meeting. And Karen did say that as of this morning, we had 700 responses. So that's awesome.
Oh,
so thank you,
great.
everyone who has responded. We appreciate that, appreciate your input. And if you haven't done so, please be sure to do that so that we can make sure we're all on the right track for this new program. And another thing I want to mention that there is going to be a vice president, an IIMC vice president election coming up in March. And I believe the ballot will go out the 3rd week of March, I believe. So be watching for the ballot. You'll get it as an email. I strongly encourage you to check your spam, because a lot of times those ballots will end up in your spam mailbox. If you don't receive the ballot, contact IIMC headquarters and they'll make sure you get the ballot. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that we do have an election coming up, and to be sure and vote when you receive your ballot. We also have another election, which won't involve us, but in Region 11 as well, there's an election for the Region 11 director. And so we'll get the results of that as well after the ballots or the voting closes. In April, I believe, it's open for a month. And so after that, the results will be published. And someone had asked about new clerk training programs. I just mentioned that we're working on a Beyond the MMC certification program. And so that is something that's possibly going to be happening. And I know there's a lot of institutes that are providing a lot of training virtually. So I hope all of you are taking advantage of those opportunities. The Athenian Dialogues, they're very popular. I know University of Wisconsin Green Bay just put out quite a few online training programs. So it's, the opportunity is there to continue your education during this time. And let's hope later this year or in May, and then after that, we'll be able to start going back to in-person meetings. I look for us, or for IIMC, to kind of do a hybrid as we go forward, having in-person meetings and also continuing with the virtual online. It's very popular. It reaches our members that don't have the opportunity to attend institutes and conferences. So I look to see that continuing in the future. So not sure what it'll look like, but it'll be a little bit of both. And let's see. Someone had asked about the affordability of attending an IIMC conference from a small community. And of course, we have scholarships through the IIMC Foundation that are available. And I also know that a lot of the state associations provide scholarships as well. So I hope if you do have financial difficulties that you take advantage of those scholarships. Another way to, to make it more affordable is find a clerk in your region or your state and share a room, share the expenses. I know there's a lot of clerks out there that do that. And, drive together if you're able to drive, share the costs for travel. And so there's a lot of different options out there so that you can attend the conference. I know I've shared rooms with clerks and it's a lot of fun, get to really know someone and you make a friend for life. So those are options that if you can't afford it, there's the scholarships and the ability to share expenses with fellow members as well. And someone had asked about scholarships for graduate school and master's programs. I don't think we offer scholarships for those types of programs. The only scholarships we have is towards certification for your CMC and your MMC. Not saying that could be something down the road, but right now it's just for your CMC and MMCs to get your certification.
Yes, ma'am. That's me. I'm Mary Roble. I'm the president for the Alabama Clerks Association this year, and it's been kind of a looming idea that I've had about having kind of tuition assistance or kind of a scholarship program that could help any clerks that are interested in going forward with either a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or law degree, just any kind of tuition assistance that either the IIMC could offer or if we could build one here in Alabama too.
Okay. Well, it's something to kind of keep in the conversation and we'll see. I think it's a great idea, but right now we're just focusing on the CMCs and the MMCs. So, but thank you for bringing that question up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I talked about education and all the opportunities. Someone had asked, what will IIMC look like in 2025? That's a great question. And I don't know. I mean, it's 4 years down the road, and who would have thought 2020 and 2021, the beginning of would have been what it is. So I don't know if anybody else wants to share what they think IIMC will look like in 4 years. Go ahead, Lana.
I think from the expansion of our Region 11 and having benefited from attending 2 conferences in the UK, I can assure all of the clerks on this side of the water that the internationals are very much interested in getting more clerks involved in IIMC, as well as, their local or their country organizations. I know the Society of Local Council Clerks in England are very much involved these days with IIMC, as are the VVG from the Netherlands. And they're working together for the study abroad program, which, you know, was postponed from the Netherlands until 2022. But in that respect, it's my personal feeling and that our international involvement is going to grow considerably, especially like Mary and Karen were talking earlier about having a virtual way to connect with our peers on the other side of the big pond. And they are very interested in what we are doing here in the States. And their training programs and the SLCC are definitely very high quality, very high end, I would say, you know, upper level college classes that they deal with. And for instance, in Scotland, our solar connection there, the city clerks in Scotland have to hold a Juris Doctorate, a lawyer degree, to be a city clerk. So it's very, very interesting. And I would highly recommend when you come to conference that you reach out to some of the internationals. They love to talk to you. They love to pick your brain and get your ideas. And they have some very, very interesting things. So I think that that first I in IIMC is definitely going to be expanded and broadened. And both sides of the water are going to benefit greatly from it. And with all of the new virtual learning that we've had to go through this past year, I think that has only heightened the awareness of the need for us to be more connected with the internationals and them with us, because there's so much that they can teach us and we can share with them as well. So that's my idea of what IIMC will look like in 2025. A much closer relationship with our Region 10 and 11 clerks. Thanks, Mary.
Oh, thank you, Lana. Yes, you're right. And they want to be more involved in IMC and have that connection with us. And right before we came on, I was mentioning that a couple of weeks ago, I did a Zoom meeting with a group of regional SLCC members, and we had a great time. They were a wonderful bunch of clerks, and yeah, they want to know what's going on over here. And I myself want to, you know, I wish I would have had the opportunity to travel to England last October to attend their conference, and wasn't able to do that. But I mean, having the Zoom and having the connection was wonderful. And yeah, I agree. I think that connection with our Region 11 members is very important and will continue to grow. So I'm glad you mentioned the symposium and the study tour that will be in September of 2022. So be watching more for that. Save your money and go, because I haven't had the opportunity to attend a study tour, and I'm saving my money right now so that I will be able to attend that. I look at, and just to keep it going, I look for IMC to, you know, and we're doing it right now with our virtual and online training. I look for that to continue to grow and reach more of our members. Because I know in years past, that's always been a concern and a little bit of a struggle to reach some of our members that don't have the opportunity to attend conferences. So if anything, this pandemic has made education more available to those members, and I know they really appreciate it, and they're excited that they can continue on with their education and get their certifications. So anyone else have any ideas of what IMC is going to look like?
I would like to encourage all of membership to continue letting us know what you would like IMC to look like in 2025. We do collect all of your feedback. We talk about it in-house all of the time. So when you send us your hopes for programs, your wish list for programs, and your vision, your goals, we do collect all that information and we do discuss it.
Okay, yeah, definitely do that. Oh, someone had mentioned about Dr. Long and the replacement for our Director of Professional Development. Yes, we were all disappointed to see Dr. Long leave. The reason is that her contract was not renewed, as she was going, in fact, she was working for IMC and she also works full-time for another organization. And so I think it was to the point where IMC needed a full-time in-house director of professional development. And so the board has approved the hiring of a full-time in-house director of professional development. And we hope to have someone on board in the summer. So we will start advertising for that position here in the next month or two, and hopefully have them on board in July or August. So we're excited to have someone in-house and that can focus on all of our educational needs, especially with these virtual opportunities, and also with the possible Beyond the MMC or whatever we call it program that will be coming later this year, hopefully. So I just wanted to touch base on that question and let you know what we were doing to fill her position. I think that's it. Oh, there was someone that asked about extending the membership to Puerto Rico. And I'm not sure if we've ever had a member from Puerto Rico. I know we've had from Bermuda. We had a member. And Lana, can you help me out? I don't recall.
That was brought up, Mary, I believe, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe Mary Kaiser can jump on here and respond to that if she's still on the meeting. But I know that it came up once before because someone had a connection in Puerto Rico. But when it was followed up on by IIMC staff, to my recollection, that clerk had moved on and there was no follow-up from and no response from anyone else. So I'm not sure where that happened. That would probably be a really good question for Chris Shelby, but I don't recall anything else.
Okay, well, I'll make a note of that and we can talk about it at our executive committee meeting in a couple of weeks and get some more information about that. So thank you to whoever submitted that question. We will get more information. Okay, I think that covered the questions that was submitted to Karen. If I missed anything, let me know, but majority of the questions were about the conference. And one thing I did want to mention, the Michigan Clerks are working on the all-conference event, which will be held at the DeVos Convention Center. And they are, their theme is, I should have had it in front of me, I apologize, all through the years. And it's, you know, with our 75th anniversary. So everyone is encouraged to dress up in whatever decade they want. So be thinking about that, how you would like to dress. And the other day I was thinking about it and I got online to see, well, what kind of what kind of costumes or outfits could I possibly do? And I was looking at the 50s, and I don't know. The dresses were, the big poofy, skirts and all that. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but be sure to think about that and come dressed up in whatever decade you feel like doing. So I did want to mention that. And they're going to have a band and all different kinds of different activities and stations during the conference, the all conference events. So it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Does anybody else have any
And this
questions?
is Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Mayor. I'm doing well.
Oh, Hannah, I think you're.
Hey.
Did you have a question?
We're losing your audio, Hannah.
I think we lost her. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? Things you're going through that you need some advice on, suggestions?
We
We're
do
here.
have a question in chat about when the IMC committees will be selected.
Oh, good question. We will do that
Okay.
selection process at our executive committee meeting in 2 weeks. We've already been given all the applications and a spreadsheet of what everyone wants to do, what their preferences are. So we will be making those assignments then. And then after that, IMC staff will reach out to each one of you and let you know which committee you're on and what the goals and objectives are, etc. And I think if you're still interested in serving on a committee, you can still apply. Helen.
I do have a question. And then I guess it has to do more personal, but I sent in my credit card information to finish off, payment for the MMC. And I never got a confirmation that that happened. So I tried to go in there again and it said that it was already taken care of. Wouldn't let me.
So what I would say is this isn't necessarily a budget only meeting. And so typically what you're doing is kind of like we did before.
Hey, Karen, can you mute her?
So you're not specific.
Thank you. Sorry, Helen, go ahead.
But when I tried to go into that again to make sure that, everything went through, it said that it was already taken care of. So I'm kind of like in a limbo pattern here. I don't know if the credit card went through. I don't know. And I don't know which direction to go.
Helen, I would call out to headquarters and talk to either Janet or Maria. Now they're on staggered days in and out of the office. So if they're not there, leave a message. I would reach out to them directly and ask them about that. Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't know if it was computer issues or if it was IIMC or if it was credit card. You don't know which direction to go. So I just want to double check.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Oh, no. Yeah. Give them a call and they can let you know for sure if it cleared and went through.
Very good.
All right. Thanks. Anyone else have any questions?
President Mary, this is Camilla.
Hey, Camilla.
Hey, we're in a vehicle right now coming back from a doctor's appointment, but I wanted to give a shout out to Region 3. We have our conference that is on Tuesday of next week, the Athenian Dialogue, and then Wednesday and Thursday. So we look forward to having you there with us. We've got about 170 people. It is a virtual conference, so we're excited about that. but we're moving forward with it, and just wanted to let everyone know to keep us in your thoughts and prayers next week as we conduct this virtual, our very first virtual region conference.
Thank you, Camilla. I look forward to joining all of you next week. So I appreciate the invitation, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, but the numbers, 170, that's great. That's awesome. So, yeah, thank you. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share? Are we mostly still doing virtual council meetings, or has anyone gone back to in person? Yeah, we've been doing in virtual here, but our council's starting to get anxious and want to get back to in person. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. We might be in person next month for our March meetings with a limited number in the chambers and people wearing masks, things like that. So
We have never gone virtual.
really, have you limited the number of people attending? And
No, we actually moved our meetings to our one of our gymnasiums, and we just do it that way, spread out.
Wow, that's good that you had the space that you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good.
City of Byram hasn't gone virtual either.
And it's been no issues going.
No, we do allow people to attend by Zoom. So we have the Zoom open meeting, and we will have 1, 2 aldermen that may participate by Zoom. Sometimes they're all there. We've spaced them out so they're sitting kind of unusual throughout the front of the room with their mics. But we normally don't have over 20 people attend as far as the public, but we have consistently had at least 10 people attend by Zoom each meeting.
That's interesting. That's an interesting. Yeah, we've done, when we did have in-person meetings last fall, yeah, we had to rearrange microphones and chairs and where everybody tables, and just to make sure everybody was spread out and let people in to the chambers, do their thing, and then they had to leave. And yeah, so a lot of moving pieces.
I would have absolutely no idea how to even set up a Zoom meeting.
I think a lot of us are pros.
It's easier than you think, Helen.
I remember at the beginning of this, I did sit in on one, I don't know, virtual meeting. I guess it would be a virtual meeting or educational session on how to do it, but it went so fast that I couldn't follow any of it. And when you don't do it, you don't remember.
Right. Yeah. Well, we've learned a lot through this. That's for sure. Anything else anyone wants to share? We will we'll have more information after our executive committee meeting, and the host committee for the conference, we've been meeting every other week. And I think as it gets closer to May, we'll probably go to every week. But we'll definitely keep everyone posted if any changes. But we're moving straight ahead to an in-person conference. I think we all need that.
Mary?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to share that at the election law conference this January, I just completed my 6th recertification through the Texas Municipal Clerks Association. That equates to 30 years in the program.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now Letty, that conference meeting was held in person and virtually, correct?
Yes, that is
How did-
correct. We had over 500 folks that registered, and about 200 were in person and the rest were virtual. So it was a hybrid.
Okay. And how did it work?
It worked great. We did have some technology issues. I was one of the speakers, and in some of the sessions there were technology issues because this was new to everyone, of course. So we just had to work out the glitches for the first few minutes of each session, and then everything went very smoothly thereafter.
Mm-hmm. Good. Good. Yeah, I saw that on Facebook that it had was hybrid, in person and virtual. So I was curious to see or to learn how that worked. So thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's the issue is technology. When we did our mid-year board meeting back in November in Grand Rapids, it was a hybrid. We had some of the board members on location there in Grand Rapids and some were zooming in, and it went well. It was a challenge having to lead the board meeting and make sure you're keeping track of who wants to speak in the room and up on the screen. But it worked. It went fine, and a little stressful at times, but it does work. And if you have the capability and the technology to do it, it can be done. So I think we're getting up closer to our hour. So if anyone else has any last thoughts, comments, now's the time.
Well, just to let you know, I just received my confirmation for my payment from a week ago.
They heard you.
Yeah.
No, it probably was Karen because she's in the office. So
Came from Janet.
Oh, well, good. Glad to hear that. You know, working with a staggered in and out situation at headquarters, I know that they're doing, staff out there is doing a great job keeping up. So I know it can be stressful for them having to work at home some days, in the office some days, but they're doing a great job.
Mary?
Yes.
I
Yes,
just
they are.
wanted to thank you for having
That
this,
means I have just
and Karen as well. And it's so nice to see so many beautiful faces without masks on. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, Diane. And I hope we get to see you in May. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. Did someone else have a comment or a question?
No, I just wanted to let you know, Mary, with that, I have now earned my MMC.
Yay! Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank
Do we
you.
have, that's great. Do we have any others that are on here that just recently earned their CMC or MMC? No? Okay, well, if you're working on it, keep up the good work. Oh no, somebody just put in the chat that they just became an Athenian fellow. So congratulations. Good. Good for that.
Mary, I actually have my CMC, and you may be aware that Michigan has now switched to a Michigan professional municipal clerk. And I
Right.
just turned in all my paperwork in the fall for level 2, and I'm anxiously awaiting. I was within 2 points of the level 2, so I'm still waiting for confirmation on that. So it's a lot of work, but the Monroe County Clerks Association, which I'm a recording secretary currently, has been wonderful to me, as well as the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks. And I'm right over the border from Ohio. So they're all helpful as well, although I have to say, go blue. Thank you.
No. Well, do we have any new members that joined IMC since January 1? No, I guess not, but all right. I just wanted to go through and if there were any new members or CMCs, MMCs, or Athenians, we wanted to recognize you and congratulate you for your hard work and keep it up. So with that, if no one else has anything they'd like to share or comment on, we'll go ahead and be mindful of everyone's time. And thank you again for attending. I'm glad we're able to do this and just connect and keep in touch. And Karen and I are going to set up another one in April, right before the conference. So we should have more information we can share at that time. And hopefully we'll see all of you in May in the great city of Grand Rapids. It's, by the way, is a beautiful city, easy to get around, lots to do and see. Some nice neighboring communities like Holland and Saugatuck. And I believe Holland has a huge tulip festival, the end of April, beginning of May. And I think it's over by the time we get there on May 8th. But if you have an opportunity to go early and attend the tulip festival, I understand it's very beautiful. So anyway, with that, take care, everyone. Stay safe. And I'm always here. If you need me, call me, email me. I'm just right here for you. So take care, and we'll see all of you very soon.